Welcome back, adventurers, to Let's Play Biohazard Real Survival, also known as Resident Evil. Now, in the previous episode, Jill and Barry were exploring the mansion in search of Chris and Wesker, who had disappeared, and they came across the corpse of Kenneth Sullivan of the Bravo team, who was unfortunately being devoured by one of the ghoulish zombies that was inhabiting the interior of the mansion. Barry is currently examining the west wing, so Jill is going to be exploring the east wing of the first floor of the mansion. And there is another zombie over there. Luckily, Jill was able to unlock that door before the zombie did to her what the first zombie did to Kenneth. Fortunately, zombies are easily avoidable except in certain situations, and there is a second green herb. The zombies tend to be fairly slow, not overly aggressive. Though having said that, I actually learned something rather interesting, especially in regard to rigor mortis. Because rigor mortis, for those of you who have any inkling in biology, is basically when, after someone dies, their body undergoes a certain rigor, hence rigor mortis, rigor after death. The interesting part that I didn't know about is that rigor mortis only lasts for a short amount of time. So for anyone that says that zombies can't run or can't move quickly at all, yeah, food for thought, literally. Now, Jill, this room here is one of several save rooms that can be found throughout Biohazard. This is the only one that doesn't have the iconic save theme, which we'll be listening to when we reach the other save room in the mansion, on the other side, in the west wing. There's a typewriter and an item box I'm not going to use for the time being. I'm just here to, as a bit of a breather. There's certain rooms we cannot access at the moment, so probably the best thing to do is to head back to Barry, because he did mention that to return to... Oh, and I was not lucky enough to dodge that zombie. He did say to return to the main hall if something happened. Well, dogs and zombies definitely count as something happening. There's still no sign of Wesker and Chris, and Jill is on caution. Which is a good thing I have those two herbs with me. Why I'm going this way is that it's actually not that difficult to dodge the dogs. And Jill is a bit more nimble than Chris is, so... And there was a skillful dodge by Jill Valentine there. So let's head back to Barry as quickly as we can. If you're wondering why I'm not running everywhere, it's because I like walking through the mansion and seeing the surroundings. And Barry is not in the main hall, so he must still be in the dining room, and there's still no sign of Chris. Hopefully Barry is waiting in the dining room, unless he has decided to investigate elsewhere. So he is not here. And Jill just walked through the bloodstain on the floor in front of the fireplace, which is not very sanitary, to say the least. I do like this music. It's a shame that this type of music never made it into any of the live action films. And there before us lies the body of Kenneth, who has become a mere shadow of his former self. Luckily he has a pair of clips on him that will be more than beneficial. Especially for Jill Valentine, who was not quite a marksman that Chris is. Now in the first video, in the first zombie encounter in the original Biohazard, it would actually show a clip of the zombie dropping Kenneth's head on the floor right here and it rolling over here, as well as showing the fact that the left side of his face has actually been completely devoured right down to the bone. This is need I remind you, that is a 45-year-old man, the physique of Barry Burton, who was overpowered and killed by a zombie. And this door is locked, so Barry clearly didn't go this way. See if the door at the end of the hallway is open. Nope, 2 is locked from the other side. Now even though Jill can open this door with her trusty lockpick, keep in mind that Barry does not have said lockpick because he gave it to Jill back in the main hall before they went their separate ways. Therefore, there is no tangible way that Barry could have entered any of the other rooms. And yet, for reasons we cannot fathom, he is not here. He's not in the West Wing, he's definitely not in the East Wing, so the only solution is that he is upstairs. Which is the only route available to us at the moment. I remember these stairs as a child. I remember watching those stairs for the first time and being completely swept in the atmosphere. Fun fact, the transitions of the doors and stairs are actually from the Capcom game Sweet Home, which is kind of like a horror-esque RPG game that Resident Evil was originally meant to be a remake of, but later became its own thing. Now we can go to the second floor of the West and the East Wing, but there is a third door above the door that Jill went through on the first floor, which you can use to examine the balcony, the exterior of the mansion. And there are spots of blood here and there on the floor, which is always an ominous sign, as well as smears of blood on the wall. Unfortunately, Jill, that hope is going to be dashed. That blood is almost definitely from your teammates. Lo and behold, it's Barry.
Jill! Don't scare me.
Same to you.
That's what I was going to say. Aren't you supposed to be going over the first floor, Barry?
Yes, you were. What happened?
Yeah,
Apart
you're
from
right.
doors being locked.
But just take a look at this.
Well, he's found something. Another body?
It's Forrest. Oh,
You mean the
my
forest out there on
God.
the horizon? No, you're talking about Forest Spire. That was a misunderstanding on my part.
Awful.
I'm going to find out what caused Forrest's death. It looks like he was killed by a crow or something.
Well, you found that out pretty quickly. Span of 5 seconds.
Can you look around the first floor, Jill?
Okay.
Alright, we'll continue your investigation.
Hey, Jill. This must have been Forrest's. You don't have a weapon. Take this with you.
We do have a weapon, but another weapon couldn't hurt. And there is Forrest's trusty bazooka. The very weapon that Chris Redfield does not have. Also, interestingly, Forrest is actually meant to be a marksman and a sniper, so it's interesting to see that he has a grenade launcher.
I can't believe.
I cannot believe either. So the second casualty of the Bravo team. That is not good odds for the Stars. And out there yonder is the primeval forest of the Arklay Mountains, which can also be found on the outskirts of Raccoon City in the form of Raccoon Forest, which is a nice little getaway. Unfortunately, the forest in question is teeming with zombies and the Dobermans that chased us into the mansion. Now, somewhere out there is a certain yellow-jacketed chicken heart flying the helicopter that was our way in and our only way out. If he's smart, he'll go back to Raccoon City to get the RPD as reinforcements. If he's not smart, then he's probably flying around aimlessly in the sky looking for us in a place where we obviously aren't there. But that's a problem for later, one that we cannot deal with at the present situation. So the only thing to do is to continue exploring the rest of the mansion. Now that event we just saw is only available if you come up here before you get the shotgun downstairs. If you get the shotgun first, then you don't get this event here. Getting the event of meeting Barry on the balcony actually opens up a series of different event routes that are otherwise unobtainable if you get the shotgun first. He also gives you acid rounds when you go back to the first floor. Hello there. Don't waste any shots. You appear to have been deceased after 5 shots, which is very good. There's a door over here. It's locked. And from that ominous sound around the corner, I'm assuming there is another zombie listlessly standing around in another armor door. And that was another 5 shots. No lurking enemies down there. Now the second floor music is just as ominous as the first floor music. This interior is actually quite interesting. The only way to go is through this door at the present moment. Luckily there aren't any enemies in here, it seems. There's also no sign of Chris or Wesker hiding out in one of these rooms. There is a book on the table, the botany book. Now, interestingly enough, in the Japanese version of Biohazard, there is actually a portrait of each file behind the text of the files. Something that's weirdly enough not there in the original localization of Resident Evil. However, it was put back in the localizations of the sequels following on from Biohazard 2. But we already know about the herbs, so we don't need to read that because we read most of the documents in Chris's scenario. I don't believe there is anything else of note, so Jill is going to head downstairs. And there is a zombie over there and a zombie over there. And they actually move rather quickly. Because they've been here for a while, there is no doubt that the rigor mortis has dissipated. Is almost certain, considering the fact that the Arklay murders began all the way back in May, 2 months prior to the events of Biohazard. So if the zombies have been here for that time period, which they definitely have, then yeah, they'll still aimlessly shuffle like that. That is because the first two Biohazard games actually require you to press the action button to go up and down stairs. And as a result, the zombies they cannot descend the stairs. Which is a small blessing, but of course in real life, such a thing would never work. And I ran into you. Oh, too wide on that corner. I should have stuck to the wall. Probably on danger now. Yes, I am. Or rather Jill is, because I am not Jill Valentine, and Jill Valentine is not me. So we'll go up to Yellow Caution, use both those herbs, which I did not want to do, which is very unfortunate. I will put the combat knife and the first aid spray in this item box, which we will come back for. I think we'll put the the bag of chemicals, which is also the herbicide if we choose to examine it, because it kills plants. This will come in handy later, but we're not going to carry it for now because we want to save inventory space. Luckily for Jill, she can carry 2 extra items than Chris, so she can actually carry a plethora of herbs if she needs to. We won't save here because Jill needs to get to the west wing of the mansion. And I was not lucky enough again. I probably could have snuck behind him. I'm probably on danger. No, Jill's not in danger. Of course, if Jill gets attacked by the dogs, that's a different story. Yes, I've said it before in the past, and I'll probably say it many times in the future, but Resident Evil, clunky and as cheesy as it is, should never be underestimated. There's a reason why this was the classic survival horror game of 1996, and Jill Valentine just beautifully ran past that dog. Unfortunately, we're kind of in a bit of a pickle here, because we have to reach the other side of the mansion. And I'm regretting not taking that first aid spray with me. In fact, I'm actually regretting not taking the herbicide with me as well, because we have to get to the other save room. It's a minor annoyance, but it's something that we'll have to deal with. 2 wasted green herbs. And I haven't saved. Which is very unfortunate. Oh, run away! That was... why did I do that? That was most unfortunate. Yes, the first death of the Let's Play. The first death of Resident Evil. That is most unfortunate. So when we return, adventurers, I will make my way back to the dining room as soon as we skip this. Fighting enemies is not the only way to survive this horror. Yes, indeed. And there is Chris Redfield walking in the blue room on the first floor. We don't need to see that. So when we return, adventurers, we shall pick up where we left off previously and not die this time. So I leave you with that, and as always, until next we meet.